NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of NamRA Kachenu, where the focus is on tax, customs and excise matters. I'm your host, Shipena Njambi Kuhanga, and honored to be in your company for the next half an hour or so. In recent development, NamRA remembers the late president, the role of strategic corporate communication highlighted. Last but not the least, NamRA signs a memorandum of understanding with BIPA. Well, all that and more will be coming to you in a while. Stay tuned. The Namibia Revenue Agency, NamRA, held a candlelight vigil on the 16th of February 2024 in memory of the late President, His Excellency Dr. Hage G. Geingob. The event was a tribute to the President for his significant support to NamRA since inception. The NamRA Commissioner Sam Shivute called on staff to uphold the legacy of the late President, acknowledging his deep influence and aspirations for NamRA.
President of the Republic of Namibia, a man whose directive has resulted in the establishment of this unique and world-class institution. A man who has impacted the lives of Namibia. A man who has made great strides to transform the Namibian nation and has put our nation on the global map. Yes, death has robbed us of such a great leader.
NamRA's Chief Strategic Communications and Support Engagement, Yaruke Kurondorokade, recently gave a guest lecture on strategic corporate communications at the University of Namibia to media students. He shared insights on various aspects of corporate communications using examples from his NamRA experience. On the 1st of February 2024, the Namibia Revenue Agency, NamRA, and the Business and Intellectual Property Authority, BIPA, entered a memorandum of understanding aimed at enhancing cooperation in terms of sharing information on the registration and maintenance of business entities, as well as intellectual property rights in Namibia.
We are not just going to finalize and sign this memorandum of understanding. We're going to ensure that a competent team from both institutions are appointed to make sure that we give effect to this memorandum of understanding.
We are optimistic about making substantial progress in safeguarding the rights, especially, as I said, intellectual property right holders, the owners of businesses, and those who are users and beneficiaries in both areas.
NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Njietu.
We are now joined by Ms. Jacqueline Gawanas, the Senior Manager responsible for Technical Services and Excise Management in the Department of Customs and Excise at NamRA. Well, hello, Ms. Gawanas, and welcome to NamRA Kachenu.
Thank you very much, Shipe, and thank you for having me on NamRA Kachenu.
Ms. Gawanas, please share with us your background and what exactly inspired you to join NamRA.
Yes, my background, really I joined Ministry of Finance in 95. That was close to 28, 29 years ago at a really tender age. And when I joined, I really knew that this has been a calling all my life. I have been a customs officer for close to 29 years. So joining NamRA was not just a dream that, you know, came through within 2 minutes. It has been something that I came with ever since. I'm a customs officer, had been a customs officer all my life, and to serve my country with the purpose of collecting revenue for the state and facilitating trade. So really, that's my background. Coupled with that, I've also completed my B Juris as well as the LLB from University of Namibia. So really, that is where I come from. And just to give you another twist is that 2 years prior to establishment of Namibia Revenue Agency, I was the acting commissioner for Customs and Excise, and really at that particular time I was responsible for, you know, ensuring that, you know, processes, procedures and policies are in place to ensure that there would be continuity within NamRA, that processes must be there already by the time NamRA is established. The processes should be in place. So there was the clearing agent policies, the the container control program that we were already, you know, trying to craft documents and policies and procedures in place to ensure that once NamRA is there, we would then really, you know, launch this the initiatives within the Department of Customs and Excise.
Now, with that said, could you provide a brief overview of your role as the Senior Manager for Technical Services and Excise Management?
Technical Services and Excise Management, a very complex and a dynamic division within Department of Customs and Excise, where we mainly deal with developing strategies and policies insofar as the classification, valuation, origin, as well as the excise sector is concerned. We're also responsible for ensuring that we developed and draft the e-commerce strategies, the expedited shipment strategies, and also the management of the overall Asekuda world system. Really, that's my responsibilities in a nutshell insofar as technical services is concerned.
Now, we've heard a lot about the 3 triologies in the customs world, right? Which are basically valuation, classification, as well as origin. Could you perhaps give their significance?
Goods, when imported from a country, you know, differs from what it is, the characteristics. So meaning that one would not be able to classify, for example, a pen with electronics. So therefore, it is very important when traders out there importing goods, they would then have to classify the product according to its character and use. You understand? Because you would not be able to say the pen has the same character as a smartphone or a TV. So therefore, these are then codes within the customs domain that are accorded to different products. So it would also imply that once you classify this good, it would also dictate whether or not duties on that particular product would be charged or not. For example, we are importing, or a trader is importing a motor vehicle. On a motor vehicle, you would find customs duties. It would attract VAT, and it would also attract, you know, ad valorem duties. Whereas when I import a pen, it would mainly attract VAT. So that is why it is very important for the classification of the good to be accorded the right commodity in order to ensure that the government and the state collect the needed revenue in that respect. That is for classification. Now, for valuation, what we are saying in respect of valuation is that if the traders out there do not provide a value or submit an invoice with that particular declaration, we would not be in a position to charge, duties on that particular product, meaning that there is no commercial value. Therefore, it is very important when the importers, exporters, import goods, there must be a commercial value attached to that particular import in order to ensure that we also collect the duties per se. So if you don't do that, meaning that either you have falsely declared or either you have undervalued. Maybe you provide a value, but the value of the goods is not what it ought to be. Then it means that there is an undervaluation. And as a NamRA, we have developed a strategy that was approved, of course, by the management that we're implementing in respect of combating, the notion of misclassification and undervaluation of these particular goods. So really, that is for valuation. Now, for the origin of the goods, goods imported from different countries or either exported are either grown or either manufactured. Very important. So if a rule of origin is not accorded to that particular product, we would not know where these goods are coming from. And as such, we would not know whether it either attracts duties or not. Because as a country and as NamRA, we had also, signed or either acceded to various free trade agreements and preferential trade agreements. So it is only not for NamRA when you are importing the particular good that you need to specify where these goods are coming from. It is also very important for the trader, because if you do not specify where these goods are coming from, and if as a country we have signed a treaty in respect of that particular negotiations, you would not be accorded that preferential treatment, meaning that either if the duties are eliminated under that particular free trade agreement, you would not be able to accord it that particular, that treatment. So very important is that as traders out there, we should be cognizant in respect of how we import these goods, what we are importing, and particularly what is the value of that goods. Because once that is not provided, NamRA would not be in a position to then declare or either, give you or grant you that particular preferential treatment insofar as an agreement is concerned.
Now, since excise plays a vital role in the collection of revenue, right? What are some of those factors that you can highlight, and what factors elevate their importance within the customs department?
Yes, excise, it's a tax that provides constant, revenue stream to the state. That's one. Secondly, it's also, discourages, consumption of certain, products that may be harmful to human consumption or either to the environment. So what we've done as NamRA is to then segregate them into the various sectors. That is the wine, spirits, and beer. That's one sector that we are looking at. The second sector is the tobacco sector. We have seen that there is a lot of illicit importation of cigarettes, and cigarettes is termed to be a high-risk commodity. So therefore, we have the tobacco sector, and then we have the petroleum and the bunkering sectors that deals mainly with the importation and exportation of the petroleum products. That is how we have divided, those sectors. Now, the significance thereof is that importation of these goods, for instance, if you look at your alcohol, when it is imported and the duties are calculated, it would be calculated on the liters whereas, you know, when you import furniture, it will just be furniture, and then there would be a normal duty rate provided. Here, you pay by liters. Therefore, the revenue impact and the revenue stream is quite significant. Similarly, also with the cigarettes, the way it is calculated also is totally different from, you know, your normal imports. So therefore, you know, the revenue impact thereof is quite significant, and the contributor of the largest revenue component from the Department of Customs is, of course, the excisable products. That's how we place the significance on this excisable products.
Now, we understand that advance ruling was introduced in 2022 within your department, right? Could you briefly explain this program by outlining the advantages, especially for both importers and exporters?
Thank you. The World Trade Organization agreement, that is now the Trade Facilitation Agreement, encourages member states to implement programs that provides for seamless movement of goods. And these are one of the measures, the Advanced Ruling Program. This is a binding ruling that is issued by Customs, that is NamRA, that is being provided to the traders. This ruling centers around classification, valuation, and importation of the goods. So traders would then submit, you know, their application. We would then issue a ruling within 30 days. Now, this, as I've explained, this ruling is binding both upon the agency as well as the importer. So the importer would then present this ruling at the border when the goods are being imported, and the goods would then be released without any hassle. Now, what it really does is to provide for predictability in the supply chain. It provides for integrity, and also it provides for transparency, because goods would be released without any hassle at the border. There is expedited movement of the goods from the border into the country, and then the importers would also then financially plan properly, because this ruling will be issued ahead of time, and you would know what would be your possible duties, you know, what would then be the value of the goods. So it provides really for that to the traders out there. Therefore, we are encouraging all the importers, exporters to apply for this ruling. Since the inception of the launching of the ruling, we have issued close to 450 rulings. So you could see the magnitude thereof. But we really want more appetite from the traders, noting that, you know, declarations in a month runs more than 2,000 declarations that we are running. So we would encourage, you know, the traders out there to really apply for this program in order to ensure that there is seamless movement of goods at the borders, there is no congestion, and also allow you as a trader to plan, which is very important for yourself as well.
Well, thank you so much. Now, we've heard a lot about the Asikuda World System, right? Could you perhaps expand on its significance? Just tell us more about it.
Yes, the Asikuda World System is the customs management system where all the imports, exports, transit, all customs regimes are then captured. You know, once goods are at the border, you know, declarations would be submitted. The information contained within that, the declaration would then be captured. What is very important from the Asikuda World System, and also notably we are in the SACU Union, where then we are receiving money from the SACU Common Revenue Pool, which is very important as Namibia, which is a very important revenue stream also for the country. So therefore, the capturing of the data on the system is very important. You know, integrity of the data, which is crucial on the reconciliation of the SACU shares, are very important, because if all the data is correctly captured on the system, and the system is managed properly, then it would mean that in terms of our intra-SACU data, the data would be correct, and therefore it would ensure that, as a country, we collect revenue optimally.
Great. So, but before we close off this session, what is your final message to our viewers out there?
Thank you very much, Shipe. As NamRA, we aspire to become a world-class revenue agency that positively impacts the livelihood of all the Namibians. And what we as NamRA really are doing is to hold hand with the traders, the stakeholders, and the importers, exporters, and the taxpayers at large in order for us to become a world-class revenue agency. This we can only do once we have attained the objectives and the mandates within which is set out within our legal framework, and that is to collect the revenue and also to facilitate legitimate trade. By that we are saying that let's hold hands together as a Namibian nation in order for NamRA to collect the revenue that is needed for the country and to ensure that the livelihoods of all the Namibians are positively impacted by the collection of the revenue that NamRA would make towards the state. Thank you very much.
Now that was Ms. Jacqueline Gawanas, the Senior Manager responsible for Technical Services and Excise Management at NamRA. We'll be back shortly.
NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA.
Introducing Jenny Oswald, a Senior Customs Officer responsible for clearance, enforcement, and scanner operations at the Trans-Kalahari Border Post. She has over a decade of experience and has been very instrumental in shaping the customs and excise landscape at NamRA. Well, here is Jenny Oswald.
Greetings everyone and a warm welcome. My name is Jenny Oswald. I'm a Senior Customs and Excise Officer at Trans-Kalahari Border Post in the Central Region. My journey with Customs started in 2013 when I joined as a Customs Officer in the Southern Region. My role as a Customs official within NamRA is to oversee the clearance, enforcement and scanner operations to ensure that the correct revenue is collected through duties and taxes and that is equally accounted for. Also to facilitate the smooth flow of trade across our borders. This is to ensure that there are no illicit goods entering our country that might pose a risk or harm to our society and nation at large. Also to ensure that there is a timely release of consignments, as this is pivotal to the business communities as they can incur high cost which might affect the end users, which are you and I as a consumer. I am driven by three core components in my life, that is self-discipline, perseverance and consistencies. These components have helped me to succeed in all aspects of my life. I see myself within NamRA developing and learning new skills and also growing professionally. I would like to urge my viewers to comply with the customs and excise laws, as this ensures us that we collect revenue, which is of paramount importance to the economic development of our country. I would also like to leave my viewers with a quote. It's an African quote, which says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. This in a nutshell means that as customs, we appreciate the input of our traders, stakeholders and the business communities. As we all know, the fourth industrial revolution is upon us, which means the automation of business processes. And this means that they are a fast way of doing business. So we would like our traders and communities to give us inputs as to how best to help achieve their goals as well, and to help with the efficiency of the trade system. In a nutshell, I would just like to inform our viewers that we as customs, we are here to protect, guide and serve with passion.
That was Jenny Oswald. Now let's focus on temporary export to reimportation of goods.
My name is Emmanuel Unje Kaika. I'm the Principal Customs and Excise Officer at Noordhoever Border Post in the Southern region. Today we will briefly outline the procedures for the temporary export and re-import of goods in Namibia. The Customs and Excise Act number 20 of 1998 as amended provide provisions for the business community and individuals to temporarily export their goods from Namibia. These goods are exported for various reasons, including exhibition and trade shows, temporary use, repairs and maintenance, for demonstration purpose, for training purpose, for testing and evaluations, and also for cultural exhibitions, just to mention a few. When planning to export your goods from Namibia on a temporary basis, you are expected to register the temporary export document into the Asikuta World System and submit the document to the NamRA offices at the point of exit. The document must be accompanied by a tax invoice and the reason for the temporary export. In addition to that, remember that if these goods required an export permit from Namibia or import permit from the destination country, you must obtain those permits from the relevant authorities. Take note that goods that are temporarily exported from Namibia will undergo physical examination or physical inspection. Now, looking into the reimportation process, you are also expected to register the reimportation document into the Asikuta World System and submit this document to NamRA offices at the point of entry. The document must be accompanied by the previous document, which is now the temporary export document, and also a tax invoice must be attached from the supplier, especially if goods, if repairs or processing or maintenance occurred on the re-imported goods. As a result, you are expected to pay all duties and taxes associated with the re-imported goods repaired abroad. Take note that also the re-imported goods are subjected to the physical inspection in order to validate the temporary export document if NamRA is satisfied with the process. Having said that, please stay updated by engaging NamRA officials at the point of entry or exit, or consult with customs brokers. Thank you.
In the next insert, we'll look at how to complete Schedule 19 for taxpayers claiming motor vehicle expenses.
Good day, my name is Julia Pangwashime. I'm a client service consultant at NamRA Dedicated Service Center here in Wendo. I will be taking you through on how to claim motor vehicle expenses or how to complete Schedule 19 for income tax return for individual salaried person. Now, what is motor vehicle expenses? These are the expenses you incurred when you are using your own vehicle to execute your duties. And these expenses will be apportioned between business and private expenses. Now, who can claim motor vehicle expenses or who can complete Schedule 19? This can be claimed by a person receiving an allowance such as vehicle running allowance or vehicle purchase allowance from the employer. For individuals with more than one vehicle, the system does have a provision to claim more than one vehicle. If you have more than 5 vehicles as indicated on the schedule, you can add another column by clicking on the Add button on the top left corner of the schedule. Make only if purchased. So this is the name of the car, for example, Toyota. Model, and you only put this only if purchased. It's the year the car was manufactured. Vehicle identification number. You get this number from the vehicle proof of purchase or registration certificate from NETIS, and you must capture this number correctly. Purpose of the vehicle. In case of individual, you put employment. Price of the vehicle only if purchased. Vehicle purchase date. The next one is VAT on price if not claimed as an import deduction. Then the next is total purchase cost of vehicle excluding financing expenditure. So this is the price of the vehicle plus VAT. So the system will also total this up if you filled in the price of the vehicle and the VAT. Annual allowance at 1/3 of total purchase cost in the year of purchase and for the successive 2 years. So this allowance can only be claimed within 3 years of purchase, on the year the vehicle was acquired and the following 2 years, and not the year the vehicle was brought into use. And if you happen to sell your vehicle within 3 years of purchase, you will not claim the annual allowance in the year of sale. Rental or lease payment if vehicle is not purchased. Fuel, oil, repair and maintenance. So there must be a tax invoice for the tax year for which expenses are being claimed, and it must be in your name and the vehicle registration number. License and insurance. For license, you get these figures from the certificate of registration from NETIS. And for insurance, you can get a statement from the insurance company. Accident damage repaired. If your vehicle was involved in an accident and you covered for the damage, there must be an accident report from the police and proof of the expenses that you incurred. Financing and other expenditure. This is the interest on the loan you used to purchase the vehicle. So you can get an amortization schedule from the bank for that tax year the expenses is being claimed here. Subtotal. So the system will automatically add up. You then less accident damage recovered from an insurance company or third party. So these expenses will only be applicable if you had accident damage repaired. Then you must take out the money that you recovered from a third party if you have used your money to cover the damage. Then total motor vehicle expenses. So the system will again automatically fill this up. Next is kilometers on the last day of the tax year for which the expenses are being claimed. So you will get this information from your logbook. Next is kilometers on the first day of the tax year for which the expenses are being claimed. So this one you will also get it from your logbook. Then it will give you the total kilometers for the year. So this will be the difference between the kilometer at the end of the tax year and the kilometer at the beginning of the tax year for which the expenses are being claimed. You will then have to less private kilometers traveled during the year and balance. These are the business kilometers traveled during the year. You can also get this from the logbook, since these are the kilometers you have recorded for your business travels. The next one is amount of expenses that might be claimed. So this one is a formula whereby you take X multiplied by Z divided by Y. Totals of all vehicles. So the system will then take the total amount to Schedule 3. So if you have more than one vehicle, you do the same for the next vehicle like you did for vehicle number 1, then you capture the same for the following for the other vehicles. It's very important to take note that it is compulsory that you attach a vehicle proof of purchase at the attachment container when you complete Schedule 19, because if you did not attach the vehicle proof of purchase, then the system will not accept this submission. And also, for all the expenses that you are claiming, you must have proof that is proving the expenses claimed.
Here is the trivia of duties.
Did you know? NamRA highly recommends that individuals who acquire cell phones abroad and businesses importing cell phones into Namibia must first obtain an import certificate from the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia to ensure that all imported cell phones are compatible with our local networks.
NamRA, saving with passion.
Up next, we are looking at tariff determinations.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Lenga. I'm a senior customs and excise officer, and my duty is to assist the traders or the communities or the stakeholders with the classification of goods. So in today's session, we are going to talk about the harmonized system classification of goods. So harmonized system classification of goods is the process of assigning a commodity to a particular class or category based on the criteria such as the nature of the commodities. And the harmonized system was created based on a need of international trade. So the harmonized system classification of goods is very important for customs, duties and taxes. So we do assess the duty and taxes when we are accurately classifying our goods. It's also very important for trade regulation, for trade statistics, for risk management, and for legal compliance. What are the useful tools that are being used when you are classifying the goods? We have the tariff book or the harmonized tariff book. We have a table of content, we have alphabetical index, and we have explanatory note. What is legal and non-legal when you are classifying the goods? The legal notes or the legal instruments are we have the general rules of interpretation that we have 6 rules that we must apply them in sequential order. We have section notes, we have chapter notes, we have subheading notes and additional notes. So these notes are very essential or are essential components when we are classifying goods, and they provide valuable guidance and clarification to ensure that goods are classified accurately. We have now the non-legal notes, which are provided for the ease of reference, and these are table of content, alphabetical index, and the explaining note. These notes or the instruments are just provided for the ease of reference, and they are just there to guide you on how to classify the goods accurately. Lastly, I would like to urge all the traders, customs brokers, clearing agents that are acting on behalf of their clients to make sure that they do classify the goods accurately in order to be in compliance with now the customs laws and regulations. And I would like to inform now the traders, custom agents, custom brokers, and everyone that if you find it difficult for you to classify the goods, you should always visit our offices or your nearest NamRA offices. We can be able to assist you with now the classification of goods. You know, by law, when you are providing the wrong information about the product, when you are misclassifying the goods, this can lead to for you to be penalized or to be fined, and this is in accordance with now the section 94 subsection 1 of Customs and Excise Act number 20 of 1998. So I'm just urging all the traders to follow all the procedures when you are classifying the good, in order to not to find yourself in the wrong side of the road. I thank you.
Do you want to make a payment for tax debt? Well, here are the available options for payment.
My name is Angela Kamui, Senior Revenue Treasury Officer at NamRA. I'm going to take you through the process of making payments to our NamRA offices. We have 4 modes of payments which are acceptable at our offices, which are direct deposits, cash payments, electronic fund transfers, and speed points machines. When making electronic fund transfers, we have 2 accounts available for our taxpayers, which is Receiver of Revenue, account 165001, and the VAT dedicated account 165060. When making a direct deposit, our taxpayers need to fill this deposit slip at their commercial bank. You need to have your TIN with you. The TIN consists of 8 characters, and then you should also know the period that you are making the payment for. When making an electronic fund transfer, for your penalty or interest liability due to NamRA, you use the EFT referencing example as shown on the screen. It also has 19 characters. But on the tax type and tax period, you put 999, indicating that the payment is account payment. When making electronic fund transfers, EFT referencing example is shown on the screen, which comprises of 19 characters. The taxpayer reference number comprises of 5 parameters, which are as follows. 1. Represent the payment method, in this case EFT payment. 06. Office of registration or your return office. The 8th character represents your tax identification number. 14 is tax type, in this case employees tax. 2018-06 is the tax period for which the payment is meant for.
In our previous episode, we asked, which school did Honorable Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises Ipumbushimi visit? The answer is Havana High School. Here is a question for this episode. Name 3 items categorized under Excise under the Customs and Excise Department. Do email your answer to NamRA Kachenu at namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 14th of March 2024. The winner will be announced in the next episode.
With that, we conclude this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We hope the information shared has been valuable and insightful. Join us again in 2 weeks' time for more updates, but until then, stay informed and compliant. Goodbye.
Kachenu.